Hey guys, Spiky Wargamer Nick here, continuing our talk about Eldar troops choices and their roles on the 6th edition battlefield. I know my last Dire Avenger video was, geez, almost 10 minutes. Sorry about that, it's just a lot I thought I had to say about them. I'm going to try and keep this video down to 3 or 4 minutes. So, Guardians, 8 points a model, so squad of 10, 80 points, sorry. Very cheap. The Guardians, they're extremely fragile, so they're pretty much always in cover. Their range is really limited with their guns. I would definitely advise buying a support weapon, so they're not just sitting back there. They can shoot something every turn. Missile launcher's nice, you can throw out the strength 8 shot for that one random lucky chance might do something to a vehicle. Throw out the small blast. A scatter laser is a good option. You get 4 shots, so you're pretty much guaranteed to hit each turn. Pretty much guaranteed to do a wound each turn. Star cannon is a little too expensive for what the Guardians are good for, although you could if you're playing against Marines. Guardians, they're basically set them up way back in your deployment zone. I mean, you could try to set them up so they're in range with their gun. I wouldn't make that your number one concern. Your number one concern is getting them in cover and having them survive. Because pretty much everyone knows how squishy Guardians are, so, you know, here and there they're going to drop a large blast on you. Just decimate some Guardians, so keep them in cover. Basically what the Guardians do is maybe they sit in cover, shoot, go to ground, whatever. Make sure you don't go to ground on turn 4, but turn 3. Maybe turn 3, turn 4, depending on where you deploy them. Move them out of cover, and that's when they move up to take the midfield objectives. If you have backfield objectives, that's great. They sit there and hold it all game. But if you have midfield objectives that you need to take, your other units, like Dire Avengers I explained in the previous video, clear the objective. Guardians move up mid to late game and take those objectives. That's where their guns, their 12-inch range guns, come in handy. They move up, just spray anybody what's left. Doesn't matter that they hit on 4s, wound on 4s. They just clear anything that's left and take midfield objectives. And hopefully by that time you've weakened your opponent enough to where they can't kill the Guardians in one turn. So, squad size, between 10 and 20 Guardians. I'd say 10, mostly because squads of 20. It's just a squad of 20. It's a pain to move around, carry, whatever. They take up a big chunk on the battlefield, and they can get tied down easily. So, the advantages to having 20 guys are leadership checks, not as many. You throw out more shots. Your Guardians, they can't be wiped out really in one turn. But the benefits to having maybe instead of 22 squads of 10 would be if your opponent assaults you, it's not all of your Guardians tied up in the assault, it's only half of them. Another benefit to having 10 is you get 2 support weapons instead of 1. So, I mean, it really depends on your game. So, Storm Guardians, I don't really even know if Storm Guardians have a place anymore. In order to assault, you really have to be out in the open, and being out in the open means you get shot. With Overwatch, you get killed. I mean, it's really not anywhere you want to go unless you have a very themed army, very aggressive army. I'd say stay away from Storm Guardians. Just stick to the regular Guardians. So the last thing I want to talk about to conclude this video is Warlocks. You can take a Warlock for 25 points, as out of the HQ section. Just keep him as he is. You don't really need a Singing Spear. Of course, don't put him on a jet bike. Conceal, probably not worth it. I mean, their Guardians are going to be in cover anyway, which Conceal gives them a 5-up cover save all the time. Unless you want that cover save, so when you're moving up to take midfield objectives, you have some sort of save. That's valuable, I suppose. Destructor, Flame template, basically. It's nice for protecting the Guardians a little bit with Overwatch. Embolden is probably the number 1 choice, which lets them re-roll morale checks. So your Guardians pretty much should stay on the board until they're down to a few guys. And Enhance, just don't even bring it. It's like +1 initiative, +1 weapon skill. Guardians aren't going to be fighting the assault. Stay away from it. So, yeah, that's the role of Guardians in the 6th edition Eldar book.